What's that on your neck?" Those were the exact words Margaret whispered to herself one morning as she brushed her thinning silver hair in the mirror. There around the back of her neck was a dark, shadowy ring, faint but unmistakable. She rubbed it gently with a warm cloth. Nothing. Soap and water. Still there? Well, she shrugged. Maybe it's just from the pillow or the collar of my sweater. But something about it lingered in her thoughts, and not just on her skin. Now imagine this isn't happening to you, but to your granddaughter, or your neighbor's child, or a friend at church. A seemingly harmless mark. Easy to ignore. But what if that mark isn't what it seems? What if that dark ring is your body's quiet cry for help? Today we're going to uncover the story behind a simple skin change that has caught many families off guard, something that looks like a stain but is actually a signal from within. You may have never heard of it. Or maybe you have, but brushed it off like Margaret did. But what if this quiet little symptom is the first visible warning sign of something much more serious? Something that's rising among seniors, and now even among children. In this video, we'll follow a real-life story. Learn what that dark ring actually means, and most importantly, what you can do today to protect yourself and your loved ones. Because sometimes the most powerful warnings don't come in a flash of pain or a rush to the ER. Sometimes, they just appear quietly like a smudge on your skin. It might seem innocent at first. Just a patch of darker skin, usually around the neck. Maybe a little thicker than the rest. Maybe a little velvety. You might think it's a stain, or that you forgot to wash well. But this is where many people, especially seniors, make a dangerous mistake. They dismiss it. Doctors have a name for this condition: acanthosis, nigricans. It isn't a skin disease in the way eczema or psoriasis are. It's a symptom, a flag your body is waving saying, something's not right with your insulin. You see, when your body starts producing too much insulin in response to elevated blood sugar, those excess insulin levels can affect skin cells. They begin to grow faster, pile up, and darken. The result: a soft, darkened ring, most often seen around the neck, under the arms, or in body folds. And here's the kicker. This can happen months or even years before you're ever diagnosed with diabetes. That's why doctors now consider acanthosis nigricans one of the earliest visible signs of insulin resistance, the first step on the road to type 2 diabetes. It's your skin's way of saying, pay attention. Look deeper. And if you're over 60 already managing blood pressure or cholesterol or struggling with weight, this tiny change might be your first and best chance to act before things get worse. Janet Thompson never imagined her granddaughter's diagnosis would begin with something as simple as a ring around the neck. At 68, Janet had seen her share of scraped knees, colds, and teen moods. But nothing quite prepared her for the moment she looked at Megan's neck and said, "Sweetheart, did you forget to wash back there?" Megan, just 13, shrugged. "I did. It won't come off." At first, Janet chuckled. Probably some leftover marker or dirt from school, she thought. But the mark stayed. It grew darker. Then came other things. Megan was always tired. She drank water constantly. She complained of headaches. Her moods changed. That's when Janet knew. This wasn't about soap or hygiene. This was something deeper. So she did what any loving grandparent would do. She drove Megan to a local clinic in Dayton, Ohio. They ran tests, blood work, a physical exam. And then came the words Janet will never forget: Megan has early-stage type 2 diabetes. Janet's heart sank. She had diabetes herself, but it hadn't shown up in her until her late 50s. To see it in someone so young, and yet that ring on Megan's neck had been the very first warning, long before glucose numbers got out of control. "I wish I had known," Janet says now. "I thought skin changes were just age or dirt. I had no idea it could mean diabetes." Today, Megan takes her health seriously. She walks every day with her grandma, eats better, and keeps her insulin in check. And Janet. She shares their story with other families, hoping no one else mistakes a quiet warning for something so easily dismissed. The skin is the body's largest organ and often the most overlooked. In the case of acanthosis nigricans, your skin is doing something remarkable. It's speaking up before your pancreas starts crying for help. So what exactly is this condition? Acanthosis nigricans is a skin change triggered by high levels of insulin, the hormone that helps your body use sugar for energy. When insulin builds up in the bloodstream, often due to insulin resistance, it begins to affect skin cells. It stimulates them to reproduce more quickly. This causes the skin in certain areas to become thicker, darker, and softer, or velvety to the touch. These changes are most common around the neck, in the armpits, under the breasts, around the groin or inner thighs. Doctors stress, this isn't a skin problem, it's a metabolic warning. And although anyone can develop it, it's most common in overweight individuals, people with a family history of diabetes, seniors with metabolic syndrome or high blood pressure, and children or teens consuming a high-sugar, high-carb diet. In many cases, people don't notice the patch or they assume it's due to aging friction or even sun exposure. But make no mistake, acanthosis nigricans is your body's early alert system. And like a smoke detector that goes off before you see flames, it gives you time to act before serious damage begins. Type 2 diabetes rarely announces itself with a bang. There's no sudden pain, no loud alarm. Instead, it tiptoes in quietly, slowly changing things inside your body before you even realize it. For people over 60, this process can be especially sneaky. Why? Because as we age, several things happen all at once. Our muscle mass naturally declines. Our metabolism slows down. We often become less active. And sometimes we gain weight, especially around the midsection. All of these factors make our bodies less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that helps glucose enter cells for energy. When our cells stop responding to insulin, the pancreas pumps out more of it, trying to compensate. At first, this works. Your blood sugar stays normal for a while, but inside your insulin levels are skyrocketing and the body is under stress. And that's when signs like acanthosis nigricans can appear. But the skin patch isn't the only silent sign. Many seniors also report feeling more tired than usual, needing to urinate more frequently, being unusually thirsty, getting blurry vision on and off, healing more slowly after small cuts. These symptoms might be brushed off as just getting older, but in many cases, they're early flags of type 2 diabetes. The scary part: by the time blood sugar tests show abnormalities, the damage may already be underway in the eyes, kidneys, nerves, or heart. That's why paying attention to early signals, especially on your skin, can give you the chance to stop diabetes before it takes hold. Because catching it late can cost you. But catching it early, that can save your life. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis to take action. In fact, for most people, over 60 small daily choices can dramatically reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, or even help reverse early signs like insulin resistance and acanthosis nigricans. And the best place to begin: your plate. Here are 5 simple but powerful shifts seniors can start today. Rethink refined carbs. White bread, sugary cereals, soda, and packaged snacks can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar. Swap them out for whole grains like oats, quinoa, or barley, and opt for naturally sweet foods like berries or apples. Eat more fiber, foods like lentils, chia seeds, leafy greens, and nuts. Slow down glucose absorption, keeping your blood sugar stable. Add lean protein, grilled fish, eggs, tofu, or skinless poultry support. Muscle health and curb sugar cravings. Don't fear healthy fats. Avocados. Olive oil, flax seeds, and walnuts help reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. Move after meals. Even a 15-minute walk after lunch or dinner can make a huge difference in how your body processes sugar. And here's a bonus tip: watch your skin. Check the back of your neck, underarms, or groin weekly. If you notice dark patches, don't panic, but don't ignore them either. Because prevention isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing a few things consistently, especially when your body starts whispering for help. Your body is wiser than you think. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. A dark ring around the neck. A bit more thirst than usual. Feeling more tired after a walk that used to be easy. We often chalk these things up to aging, stress, or bad sleep. But what if they're not just random? What if they're messages, gentle taps on the shoulder, asking you to look closer? Janet did. And because of that, her granddaughter Megan is living a healthy, active life today. She caught the signs before the damage became irreversible. And that's what we want for you too. You don't need to panic. You don't need to be perfect. You simply need to pay attention. Check your skin. Notice your energy. Be honest with your habits. And when something doesn't feel right, ask your doctor. Because type 2 diabetes doesn't have to define your future. You can take steps today to protect your tomorrow. And it all starts with listening to the little signs your body gives you. If this video opened your eyes even just a little, please give it a like and share it with someone you love. You never know whose life you might change by passing along this information. We believe that health is not just about medication, it's about education. And sometimes it starts with recognizing something as simple as a dark patch of skin. So here's a gentle challenge. Take a moment today to check yourself or help a loved one check for signs like acanthosis nigricans. It might feel small, but it could be the first step in a much bigger journey toward better health. Now we want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed a strange skin change on yourself or someone you care about? What did you do about it? Share your experience in the comments. Because when we talk about it, we help others feel less alone.